Today I'm gonna talk about how to find the values of a function. Now let's take a look at this function. For this function, we have x over x squared plus 1. Okay. Now let's take a look at the first problem, or problem A. So what is f0? f0 means we replace the x here by 0. Okay, we replace the x by 0. So we have 0, 0 squared plus 1. Okay, and 0 over 1 equals 0. Now let's take a look. f3. We're gonna replace the x by 3. So we have 3 over 3 squared plus 1. Okay, and 3 squared 9 plus 1 equals 3 over 10. C. What is f negative 3? Very similarly. Okay, so we can have f negative 3. That means replace the x by negative 3. So since here is a negative 3, I plug in the parenthesis negative 3. Okay, because I have negative 3 here, so I use the parenthesis in case we make mistake. Okay, and for the numerator should be negative 3, and for the denominator negative 3 squared should be 9. 9 plus 1 is 10, so it should be negative 3 over 10. Okay, now D. F negative x. Okay, again we're gonna replace this x by negative x. Okay, replace all the x by negative x. So for the numerator we have negative x. Okay, replace this x by negative x, and I'll replace this x by negative x squared. So we have negative x over negative x squared, gonna be negative x times negative x, negative positive. Okay, so that means x over x squared plus 1. Now E. So for the E, we know it's a minus fx, right? Minus fx, and we know what is fx. Fx is this guy. We just plug in the whole thing. We plug in the fx, and this one will boils down to negative x over x squared plus 1. Okay, now let's take a look. F. What is f x plus 5? Okay, now what are we gonna do? Replace the x by x plus 5. So we have x plus 5, and here this x gonna replace by x plus 5 squared. Okay, and we know x plus 5 squared can be written as x plus 5 times x plus 5 plus 1. So we can simplify it, distribution. So we have x squared, x times 5 is 5x, 5 times x, 5x, and plus 25 plus 1, and we can simplify it, x plus 5 and x squared plus 10x plus 26. Okay. Now, what is g? G is f2x. Again, we can replace this x by 2x. Okay, so we have x, and replace the x by, replace the x, this x by 2x, and then replace this x by 2x. Okay, and this guy will boils down to 2x over 2x squared, means 2 squared gonna be 4 x squared plus 1. Okay, now let's take a look at the last one. The last one will be very similar, similar to the F, problem F. Okay, here we have f x plus h. Okay, x plus h. So that means replace this x by x plus h, and replace this x by x plus h plus 1. Okay, and again we can simplify it. X plus h squared can be written down as x plus h times x plus h. Okay, so we have x plus h distribution. We have x squared plus hx plus hx plus h squared plus 1. Okay, and we can simplify it. We have x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus 1. Okay, now let's take a look at the second example. For the second example, we have function fx equals absolute value x, okay, plus 17. What's the meaning of absolute x? That means if you have negative number, we put absolute value here, it will give you a non-negative number. So for example, if here I put a -3, they're gonna give you 3. Of course, if you have a positive number, we do the absolute value, that should be a 3 too. Okay, that means what? That means absolute value negative x always equals absolute value x. Okay, absolute value x, because it will give you the same number. Okay, the same number. Now let's take a look at the first problems. A means replace the x by 0. So we have 0, 17. Okay, so the absolute value of 0 should be 0. So this guy gave you 17. And B, how about F1? We're gonna replace the x by 1. We have, because here 1 is a positive already, right? So equals 1 plus 17, that is 18. C, how about f negative 1? Okay, we replace the x by -1 plus 17. Okay, so absolute value -1 gonna be 1. Okay, 1 plus 17 equals 18. Okay, equals 18. Now let's take a look the problem D. Okay, problem D. F negative x. Okay, x, negative x. So that means we're gonna replace the x by negative x. And the absolute value of negative x gonna equivalent to absolute value x. Okay, that's the property of absolute value. Okay, so we just follow this guy. Okay, we just follow this guy. Now let's take a look the problem E. Problem E is negative fx, and we know the fx can be written down as absolute value x plus 17. Just plug in. Okay, plug in, and then here's a negative. That means we're gonna change the sign to opposite sign for each term. So we have negative absolute value x negative 17. F. What is f x plus 9? We're gonna plug in, replace the x by x plus 9. That's it. Now G, we have f 6x. That means we're gonna replace this x by 6x. Okay, 6x, and 6x plus 17. Okay, and here is a multiplication. Okay, multiplication, and we know 6 is positive, so we can move the 6 out of the absolute value. Okay, absolute value. That should be 6 times absolute value x times 17. Okay. Now we can go to the last problem. We have f x plus h. We're gonna replace the x by x plus h. Okay, that's it.